Hey, what's up? Me and KG wrote this song 5 minutes ago. It's called Master Exploder. What's going on, guys? How are you? We'll get up and running here in a moment. Okay. Okay, shut that off. All right, put that down. All right. Let me get fired up on YouTube and then we'll go. Okay. Stand by for acquisition of signal on YouTube in 5, 4. The following presentation is a presentation of the Eric Johnson Space Administration. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Space and Rocket Review. Space and Rocket Review. I am hurting. How are you guys? I had a dentist appointment, and I had a dentist appointment this morning. I had to drive up in the city. So first and foremost, got to see the Tartan Army. Oh, look at that. I got to see that today. That was neat. What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? So 2, traffic. And 3, I had 3 cavities filled in a crown today. And I am just going to once again remind everybody to brush their teeth. Did the dentist use any of your tools? No, but I did find out that they have a burr set that's very similar to mine, just smaller. Yeah, it's used for grinding teeth out and decay. And they used the whole set today. You're looking puffy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, your boy had a lot of work done up in here. Oh, you lot have the Scots. Expect there to be no alcohol left anywhere in the city when they're done. Dude, I saw a thing that they are actually cleaning bars out, which is, brother, drinking Boston out of beer when we have breweries like within the city limits, like 3 of them, is definitely, that is not easy to do. So I tip my cap to the Tartan army. They freaking they're drinking us dry. That's hilarious, man. That's not easy to do. Like that is not a simple task. I didn't think it would be done, dude. But hey, Kerbal Guy, Dentist Recovery Fund. Thanks for all the great content. Yeah. Teeth are looking good though. Reminder: brush your teeth and floss. If you don't like flossing, get a water pick. Get a little water pick and just pick it out. If you don't get into a habit of doing it when you're young, you're gonna pay for it when you're old. Emphasis on pay for it. You should send your dentist to fix the leaks in the ISS. He would probably be good at that, yes. Yep. Tooth decay. I blame Twitch. Don't tell him I said that. Woof. Wait, they were serious about brushing? Yeah, I know, right? Did you talk yesterday about the Gwen Shotwell interview to CNBC? It was very interesting. No. Hey, Sad, what's going on? Just gonna take a second, make sure everybody gets in here, and then we'll jump in. Thanks, Dad, for the life advice. Sawyer, if somebody had told me it would cost thousands of dollars to get my teeth, to just stop my teeth from hurting, I would have been brushing my teeth religiously. Okay? Don't tell him you said that? Yeah, it's all right, Dan. I didn't tell him you said nothing. There was a liquor store down the street from me that I liked going to, but there was a gas leak and the whole building exploded 3 years ago. Oh, okay. That sucks. Wait a minute.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, Clayton, you're in Florida. Oh no, yeah, it's not like there's a lack of liquor stores, okay? Hey, Blackbird, 6-month resub, thank you. Why does Gemini with Apollo Soyuz test project? Oh. Huh. Interesting. Hey, Binary, what's going on? What are other types you could share to the class? Other types of what? Oh, word tells you were at CERN. That's cool. Hey, Methane Subcooler, what's up, dude? This feels like a warning. I don't brush my teeth regularly. Never got a good habit built up. Sad, like I said, it will cost you thousands of dollars to fix your teeth. Thousands, 4 figures. Depending on how screwed up your teeth are, 5 figures. If you want to take that chance, that's all I'm saying, brother. If someone had told me that 15 years ago, I would have been brushing and flossing every day like I do now. Because, yeah, it gets out of hand real quick. But look, dude, look at this. I'm camera facing. It's got to look nice. See that? Look at that. Look at that. That's nice. Still got a lot more work to do, but hey, we're getting there. It's unfair that alligators grow their teeth back. Yeah.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Magellan, 108-month resub. Wait, you stream? Yeah, not regularly. Actually, I had Bri and I had the talk. No, she's pretty much good to go. So yeah, we're pretty much ready to go to lock in. I'm not gonna do it this week, but starting on the 22nd, we'll just get back to the regular schedule, dudes. Should be good enough. And then I figure here, let's just do this real quick. So I figure we start here because tomorrow is our wedding anniversary, so I'm not going to be here. Thursday, Friday, I'll be here. We'll just do light schedules there, and then we will lock in for the fourth week of June. We lock in because I always take the first week of July off. So when the 6th rolls around, we're back to the regular schedule. Okie dokie. So next week is going to be a regular schedule, then an off week, and then the week after that is good to go. Space and Rocket review on your birthday. Happy birthday, Archie. Happy anniversary. Thank you. We got Bluebird tonight. Yeah, what time is that going? Bluebird 8 to 10 is at 2 in the morning. It's 9 hours away. What is it now? 4 years? 3? 3. But Bree and I have been dating since 2017. Jeez. Been together almost 10 years. Been married for 3. That's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. Them's rookie numbers. Yeah, sure. Nice, Hannah. That's cool. I just realized 108-month resub is 9 years. You've been coming to the same party for the last 9 years, and that is in no way sad. I've been coming to the same party for almost 15. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll be all right. One man, it's also your birthday. You're 56 today. Happy birthday. Thanks. I got your lazy butt out of bed to brush your teeth. Like I said, Mega Timbo, everybody says, oh, brush your teeth. Oh, you should brush your teeth every day. Get into good habits. Brush your teeth every day. If someone had told me the monetary hit that you take from just making your teeth not hurt anymore when you get older, these things would be immaculate. But yeah, see, they're getting there. I'm serious. Brush your freaking teeth. I know more about orthodontics at this point than I really, really wanted to, because I'm at the dentist all the time. I've gone to the dentist every week this month to just fix everything in here. We're gonna talk about that picture set. I got links, and we could show those off. I would be definitely about that life. Let me just copy a couple of links here and there. Space and Dental Review. You do know a lot about holidays too, as dentists do tend to talk about theirs. Yeah. Yeah, my dentist was, he was in, actually, I probably shouldn't say where he was, but it was cool. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want that information given out. He was in a cool place with hot air balloons, okay? Take a guess. All right, so let's start there. And where is this? See those pearly whites? Yeah. It's coming, man. Coming along. And it, you know, like, it's not like I didn't brush my teeth, guys. I brushed my teeth a lot because, like, even before this, it's just, yeah, not flossing and stuff. Yeah, you pay for that later. All right, let's go here. So, let me just get all the last links figured out here. Floss Fun, Man on Mars, $5. Thank you. Even if you floss, it's pretty important to get your teeth professionally cleaned. Yeah. Yeah. I religiously keep these clean. But now, because it's been quite expensive fixing all of that. Anyway. All right, so let's start here. SpaceX is trading at over 200. This morning they were up to 222. And in after trading, they're going up again. Wow. This is not financial advice. I just, our one share in SpaceX has returned a 25% profit, which is 25%, 24.68% profit. So Primo and I bought a share on the 12th when the IPO happened at 150. And it's returned 25% profit. That's ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not investment advice. I have one share in SpaceX for the lulz, just because I thought that'd be funny. You have two at 160. There you go. Oh, geez, can't see me. Yeah, all right. I like my dentist. My dentist doesn't. I first started going to this dentist back in December. Okay, and here's how this went down. I went in because I had a nasty cavity on my 15 tooth. So that's the top back tooth back here. It unfortunately got to the nerve, and the guy's like, hey, you're EJ, right? And I'm like, yes, dentist man, I am EJ. He's like, okay, I'm Dr. Dentist. And I'm like, oh, Dr. Dentist, how you doing? He's like, I'm doing well, thank you very much. Let me look in your mouth. I'm like, okay. And he's like, huh. Just looking. Got a lot of decay in there.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I'm like, yeah. He's looking at it. He goes, yeah, I can already tell. That back tooth. No, I'm gonna go take a look. All right, let me take a look. Takes a look. He's like, yeah, that back tooth's hosed. I cleaned out all the decay. You're at the nerve. It's hosed. You need a root canal. And I'm like, great. It's like my fifth one. Lovely. And he's like, now wait a minute. I'm like, what's up, Mr. Dentist man? He goes, it's the holidays. The holidays are coming up. No one wants a root canal during the holidays. And you need to drink your beer, right? I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, you got to drink your beer. It's the holidays. I'm like, yes. He goes, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill this thing in. So it's an old school way of doing it. It's an old school way of dealing with this. I'm going to fill it in with sealant. I'm going to fill it in. You come back to me after the holidays. We'll take care of it. Got to drink your beer. It has to happen. I'm like, okay, Mr. Dentist. That's fine. Let's roll. I am fiercely loyal to this dentist now. Let me say that. All right? He's this older dude. He's like, yeah, you got to drink beer. That's important, isn't it? I'm like, yep. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, dentist. He's like, okay, EJ. All right. So that's why I'm fiercely loyal to this dentist. Devlord, 4-month resub. There's a dip below 160 for any reason. I've got to set it to grab another 6. Yeah, right. You got it set to grab another 6. Yeah. So, yeah, we like Mr. Dentist. Mr. Dentist is cool. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Dentist is awesome. Yeah, that's why I drive up into the city to go to the dentist, because my dentist is a winner. We like Mr. Dentist. Yeah. Even today, he's like, all right, EJ, you ready? I see you have 3 more cavities. Why do you have 3 more cavities? I'm like, they were there. And he's like, I don't know if they were. And I'm like, come on, man. You can't do me like this. He's like, it's like, nah, I'm just kidding. Those were already there. I'm going to fill them in, though. I'm like, all right. I'm just like, oh, okay. All right, dentist man. He's not, I'm just kidding. It's like, all right. Yeah, there you go, Magellan, right? I have a very bad issue with not brushing your teeth. Supposedly you have bacteria in your gums. Ramalot, I'm going to dead ass tell you that it will cost you 10 grand in 15 years if you don't brush your teeth now. $10,000. Brush them, floss them. Trust me on this. Trust me on this one. I'm not even playing. I'm not even playing, dude. Just take care of them. You only have one set, and once they're gone, they're gone. Oh, nice, Tessa. That's good. That's good. One man, you just paid 2 G's for a root canal. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I like hanging around with my dentist. Me and him were shooting the crap while he's working my teeth. He asked me this freaking guy. He asked me questions like when he's doing his thing, and I'm like, and he's like, oh, all right, good to know. I'm like, that's how this goes down. It's funny as hell. It makes me laugh. Yes, I did, sir. I dead ass did. All right. Do both of these ats work, or it's just the latter? The second one worked, Wartos. No, he does it on purpose, Shmemeron, because, yeah, that's the guy. It's just, all right. They learned Garglish in dental school. It's like a second language. Yeah, I know. All right. With that all being said, like I said, SpaceX is trading up at 200. It's 24% return, and SpaceX, when it was trading at like 180, said they had raised like $80 billion or something. It's like double that now. I got a guy for that. Yep. So I was reading on social media, keep in mind this is from social media, that Elon Musk in the past like 48 hours has made more money than Warren Buffett has over his entire career. And I'm not entirely sure what to make of that. That's impressive. Now, once again, we'll see if it holds. 24.68% return. You've got to be kidding me, dude. Yeah, and SpaceX with the money bought Cursor, which is like, all right, okay.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Why do you say depressing things like that? Bro, it ain't depressing. It ain't depressing. You can make money off this. That's all I'm saying. This isn't investment advice. That dip at the end of the day, by the way, that's 24% today. Yeah, exactly, which is just... All right, man. Okay. Guess the question is when dip. So once again, not investment advice. So employee stock options are locked until August. Okay, meaning that if you're an employee, over time, SpaceX had the offer to for employees to take less on their salary and buy stock with some of their salary. And some SpaceX employees have an insane amount of stock over time. Like something, it's got to be like 10,000 shares or something. Like even if you had 1,000 shares over time, like working at SpaceX, like 1,000 of this right now, 1,000 shares, it's a lot of money. SpaceX bought Cursor for $60 billion in stock. Yeah, so these employees, their stock is locked until August. So in August, there's most likely going to be a dip. But yeah, for now, it's just going to go up. Did you check Forbes real-time billionaires? Forbes real-time billionaires list. I mean, Tessa, you said, what about Andrew Carnegie? I'm not 100% sure that, Tessa, I think he's going to catch him. I know a guy that got 10,000. Jesus. And Larry Page is right behind him. Fun fact, Larry Page is invested in SpaceX. Elon has five times Jeff's net worth. Just, all right. Remember in like 2017 where like, it's like, oh, Jeff Bezos is the richest guy in the world. Like, remember that? I'm not even like, and I'm not trying to say this to like make people feel bad. I'm like,
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Yeah, good luck catching me.
Mansa Musa? What do you mean good luck catching you? Carnegie was about 1.6 trillion when accounting for inflation at its peak. The selling option will be unlocked in waves. Here's a simulation. Whose simulation is this? November has a 28 unlock. Let's see one thing. But this dip isn't here. I would say that the simulation parameters need to be checked here, guys, because fellas, all right. I don't know nothing about markets, right? I don't know about stocks. I don't know about trading. I'm not that good at it. I understand the basic concept, right? But these are predicting catastrophic dips. They're predicting catastrophic dips after each unlock, and then when the full unlock goes, that simulation seems to take into account that every single SpaceX employee is going to sell all their stocks, and it'll dip back to 130, which I don't think it will. This is not investment advice. I don't think it will because there's so much equity in this damn company. There'll be so much equity in this damn company by the time the thing full unlocks. It'll be a generally positive trending rate. That's just my opinion. This is not investment advice. I'm saying this because I know SpaceX, and I'm a pretty big fan, and I've been following them for some time. Like, I don't think any of the Finance Bro simulations that I've seen are taking into account like a Starship being operational, or not even the Enterprise avenues thing, like of the S1 IPO that SpaceX sent out that says there's like $22 trillion worth of potential growth. Like, not even taking that into account. They're going to roll out Starlink V3, right? They're going to build Terafab, and then they're going to move to Starlink DTC, right? So Starlink Mobile, right? So direct to cell with V3 satellites, meaning SpaceX is going to have their own, they're going to be their own phone provider, right? There's no way that Starlink and Starlink DTC are not making money. You know what I mean? There's no way. There's not a world where that happens. What is there going to be competition? Not by November of this year. Like, it's gonna, dude, like, okay, you can call me nuts, and I'm the only reason I'm even willing to throw my Ford Performance hat into the ring, I like this hat, is because I know SpaceX, and I know it pretty damn well. These people are basing these predictions off of what SpaceX is doing now, not what SpaceX is going to be doing in 5 months after a $160 billion cash infusion. Like, why not buy a mobile manufacturer? Because Elon likes to do it himself, dude. Yeah. Profitless earnings mean nothing anymore. It's entirely shareholder sentiment now. So good news up, bad news down. Yeah, kind of. Did you play Outer Worlds? I did, yes. That's why I have the shirt. Yeah, like, I don't see this stock going down, guys. Like, dude, even with AI as a bubble, I still don't see it going down. Even if the AI satellites don't work, you could still do data centers in space. And SpaceX definitely has a modular architecture on their AI-1 sat, so you could just swap it out. It's literally server racks in space with solar panels attached to the side and a radiator, right? Even if the AI compute stuff doesn't really work out the way we want it to, you still have data centers in space. I cannot see how that won't be useful in the future, even if AI is a fad, which I'm not entirely sure that it is. See your last. Your last is buried. Oh, do both of these ats work? I already answered you. The second one works, bud. And you used the second one to tag me, which... Okay, have you ever seen Air Force One in person? I don't know how rare that is. It's not Air Force One unless the president is on board Wartuz. It's VC-25A. C-25 is the Air Force version of the 747. VC-25 is the Air Force designation for VIP cargo or VIP transport. 25 is the designation on the aircraft, and it's a B variant, which means it's gone through a block upgrade. So VC-25A or VC-25B. How rare are they? Pretty rare. Are you sure you saw Air Force One? Are you sure it was VC-25? Or because we have a bunch of C-25s that fly around that look like Air Force One. They're painted in the same livery, but they're not VC-25. Have you ever played Subnautica? Yes, I don't like underwater video games. I've played it though. Hey, Jumpin'. First time I've ever seen you clean shaven. It's freaking you out. Sorry. Hey, Pat, what's going on? The president came out of it, so I'm pretty sure it was Air Force One. Yeah, if the president came out of it, then it was designated Air Force One. The second he leaves it, it reverts back to VC-25. Yeah, here, I'll show you. So VC-25A is the one that flies right now. That thing, you saw one of those. If it's 2,800, or 28,000, 28000, yes. VC-25s are obviously a little bit different. It's got a whole suite of stuff in there, and VC-25B is being made right now. That's it. This is a Dash 8. It's a variant of a 748, which is cool. Yeah, VC-25A is based off of 747-200. So part of what makes this kind of different is that this allows for in-flight refueling. This is a 747 that can be tanked from a KC-135 or a KC-10. Well, they don't fly KC-10s anymore, but KC-46 because memes. It's already there. Oh, that's cool. Neat. So yeah, if you saw the president get out of that thing, then yes, it was Air Force One. But remember, it's only Air Force One if the president is on board. If he's not on board, it's just Victor Charlie 25 Alpha. Still cool though. That's awesome that you saw it. Neat. There's also other planes that are painted like that. There's the E4, which is yeah, just let's hope you just don't see that flying around, and we'll just leave that at that. Those things only fly if the poop hits the fan. Yeah, if you see an E4 flying around, probably want to go turn the news on. Yeah, the E4s are they're National Emergency Airborne Command posts, so they're flying command post, which means that American command has taken to the skies, which means there's a good reason they're not on the ground. See what I mean? You don't want to see if you see E4s flying around, something's gone wrong. Those things fly all the time.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, I know they fly all the time. They fly like where people aren't, though. You remember that part? They fly out in the desert for practice. I know. Flying situation rooms don't have static coordinates. Yes. E4s also support Secretary of Defense visits. Cool. How did the car fixing go? I didn't... Oh. Yeah. Wait, which car fixing are we talking about? You had a wizard raid. Oh, Duke came in with a raid. Nice. What's up, Duke? How you doing? Thank you, Fluffy. Spartan with the 78-month resub, too. Sorry, chat was just telling me how, how planes often fly. It's very, very, very good to know. The one you worked on ages back. Oh, the Coronet. Yeah, it's still, I'm still working on it. I wanted to work on it this afternoon, but something came up, so that's why I started Space News at 5. Anyway, let's see. What else do we got here? So this is coming from RocketWorks. This comes from Awu here. So this is a Kitten Space Agency update for the people that care. Kitten Space Agency is kind of the spiritual successor to Kerbal Space Program. Duke, you're not doing too good. Not dead, not on fire. Okay. If someone says, please help me move this sofa up these 2 flights of stairs, say no. Yeah, okay. Cool. No, Nader. These planes that we use in responses to national emergencies can only fly in times of national emergencies. How stupid of you. Subtlety? No. We don't do that here. You lost grip, Duke. You lost grip at the top end of the sofa. You ended up with a dislocated shoulder. Oh. Okay. Oh, that hurts, man. Well, I'm sorry, dude. That sucks. Remember on it's you too. Sorry you laugh. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm laughing, but yeah, that kind of sucks. Sounds like you might have an E-Star launch on Thursday. All right. All right, let's see. Kitten Space Agency service modules are getting a full overhaul with adjustable structures, stackable bay parts, and standardized sockets for life support, power, and propulsion systems. Cool. Spaceship. Neat. Cool. Also, don't forget the tuna fish. Cool. Yeah, I know, Victory. Why do they need to know that? You guys have no chill. you guys have no chill. Drunksall, I know it's not time to say it, but damn, Hamilton's win last Sunday in Barcelona felt good. Yeah, that was cool. I didn't watch it. I don't really watch Formula One much. I just get the results. That was cool to hear. When do you think KSA will be fully released? I honestly have no idea. I've been out of the loop, dudes, for reasons you can guess. I have not talked to them in a little while because of real life stuff. Like, yeah. That's what I mean about getting my head screwed back on straight. Because, yeah, my world basically, like, stopped May 5th. Cinco de Mayo. Fryer made a strategy call and it worked. Huh. Broken clock is right twice a day, dude. Yeah, I haven't talked to the boys over at RocketWorks in pretty much since what happened. And that's what I mean about rebuilding habits and stuff. I should be good to go to start doing that pretty much by next week. What would this mean for things like part clipping? I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and assume that it probably works exactly like KSP, dude. You have a request for KSA that you may agree with. I'm not saying this should be in the stock game, but there should be provisions left in place, or at least some room to add provisions for someone to model aero parts and or surfaces, even if it's through a mod. Making the game moddable is definitely useful, but yeah, I don't know, man. Reading only the results of a sport sounds like reading pornography, in your opinion. Yeah, it's more of a time thing, and it's more, I don't find Formula One to be particularly fun to watch. I mean, if it's on, I'll watch it. The thing is that a lot of the races are overseas, and it's just they're all at weird times, and I'm not sacrificing 4 or 5 hours out of my damn weekend to watch a race. Guys, I enjoy watching NASCAR right now. I only catch the race if I have free time. I'd much rather be outside doing something. Like working on the car or fixing my house or something. Six string, what are you saying? I've seen both Air Force One and the E4 in Wichita. President flew in, the E4 was doing shakedown tests from McConnell. Cool. Some new footage of the F-18 crash. I don't show plane crashes on stream, especially when people are on board, dude. Yeah, the pilot survived. Well, that's good. An F1 race usually only takes 1.5 hours. You guys just got all the answers today, huh? Here, let's get into the next bit of space news. Maybe you can read the article for me while we're here. Go ahead, read it. I'll sit here. You guys, go ahead. I'll wait. Can you hear me reading it? Oh, I want to make a joke. I can't, but somebody else can. I'm sorry. You probably heard that. I'm probably in trouble now. Fuck. Sorry, man. Yeah, Farmer, I don't want to talk about that, dude. It's gruesome, and I don't want to show that on stream, homie. All right, so Nordspace. Welcome to Rocket Factory 1, codename RF1, our new 60,000 square foot advanced manufacturing campus at 75 Clegg Road in Markham, Ontario. Dedicated to the production of our light and medium lift orbital launch vehicles. RF1 is a 10 times expansion over our previous headquarters and marks our transition from several years of research and development to a production-focused industrial company. RF1 is a controlled goods program facility designed to host up to 255 employees. The campus consolidates the full breadth of our in-house capabilities under one roof. Advanced manufacturing for aerospace lab and space systems lab, subtractive, additive, composite manufacturing capabilities, multiple ISO clean rooms, in-house test facilities for propulsion structures, avionics, robotics, and satellites, dedicated mission control center for end-to-end management of all space missions. RF1 has been designed to produce 2 of our light lift Tundra rockets, 1,100 kilograms to LEO each, or a medium lift Tundra Plus rockets, 2,000 to LEO concurrently. That's the first I'm hearing about that. It was Tundra and Tempest last week. Both share the same Hadfield 150 engine architecture and core tooling. The Hadfield 150 is our patent-pending orbital class liquid rocket engine line, and components for the first test units are already in propulsion, including combustion devices, chambers, and turbopump components. RF1 is also designed to produce up to 10 small satellites concurrently, building on our Space Systems Lab and upcoming Terra Nova dual-use demonstration satellite launching on SpaceX's transporter mission later this year. Larger satellite platforms are in the design phase. Nordspace's vertically integrated model is anchored by its launch program and advanced manufacturing focus. This model is being optimized to internalize demand, reduce schedule and cost risk, and ensure that Canadian payloads can be designed, built, launched, and operated entirely within Canadian sovereign control. Production scaling at RF1 is anchored by a substantial expansion of our metal additive manufacturing and advanced composites capabilities. We are taking delivery of new large format metal additive manufacturing systems that will result in the largest known single metal additive manufacturing machine in Canada, alongside new automated fiber placement machines arriving this summer, unique in Canada in their combined size and type, capable of producing cryogenic compatible composite structures at the orbital launch vehicle scale. Is that one sentence? We are taking delivery of a new large format metal additive manufacturing systems that will result in the largest known single metal additive manufacturing machine in Canada, alongside the new automated fiber placement machines arriving this summer, unique in Canada in their combined size and type, capable of producing cryogenic compatible composite structures and orbital launch vehicles. AI wrote this. That's awful punctuation, but whatever. It's a sentence, but it's a sentence that no human would speak. More AI like Astra. I can't believe that article, dude. I can't believe that article yesterday. Watch the very end of Space News last night, guys, from yesterday. Chris Kemp, I think, has been in the Bay Area for too long. That's just, bro, what are you doing? Like, okay. Okay. RF1 is one of 3 sites that make up our national footprint alongside Area 66, our 50-acre propulsion test range in eastern Ontario, and the Atlantic Spaceport Complex in St. Lawrence, Newfoundland, and Labrador. At Area 66, our Black Hawk test cell is on track to reach operational readiness later this summer, in preparation for the largest rocket engine test in Canadian history. At ASX, construction across Space Launch Complex 01 and 2 continue this summer. Sovereignty is control, and that requires doing the hardest parts first. At Nord Space, we are doing the hard parts first. Official news will be released in the comments below. Okay, no music. No. Guys, okay. So I'm noticing something. Chat seems to be on the ball today with correcting me about things. So, you know, where's your eagle eyes now, dickheads? No, here, look. This is a nice facility. That's pretty good. You have offices right here. Good. You have a loading dock right there, and then you have a warehouse attached to the back. You guys call me nuts. That warehouse is not climate controlled. Didn't Buddy say that there are clean rooms in here? Shouldn't there be condensers or something on top of this? That's an open warehouse. Am I a prick for pointing that out? I don't know, dude. Like, that is not a climate controlled space. There's no condensers, there's no AC inlets, there's no ductwork, there's no nothing. It's literally a box, like my shop. Perhaps next door. Yeah, maybe over here. See how this one has air conditioners on it, and that industrial space is climate controlled. That industrial space is climate controlled. This one is not. I don't know. Maybe I'm a douchebag for pointing that out. Like, to the left? I'm going to go ahead and guess that this is probably for that. Those are big condensers. That is a big climate control system right there. Or that's for something else because it's got stacks. I'm not sure what that is. I'm pretty sure that's a different property, though. Because that factory is bigger than 60,000 square feet. Maybe I missed something. Looking further ahead, we have acquired land for RF2, a 200,000 square foot facility dedicated to the development and production of Tempest, a reusable medium lift orbital launch vehicle targeting 5 tons to LEO in the 2030s. Construction begins later this year and facilities will gradually open over the coming years. So that can't be it because that hasn't been built yet. According to that, and don't get me wrong, like if you're building rockets, you know, retrofitting this facility with air conditioning is not that big of a deal. I just highly doubt that there's any clean rooms in there, unless they're in the office area somewhere, which could be. I don't even want to deliver there. Look at that curve. I would say, or not, go around this way, come in this way, and then back in that way. All right, Duke. Feel better, dude. You got to go do real world things. All right. Hey, thanks for the raid, man. Clean room doesn't mean comfortable room, but then again, it should be protected from temperature swings. I don't know. Maybe I'm just nitpicking. But, yeah. Hey, what do we got back there? Is that Toronto? Yeah, that's Toronto over there. What was the address again? Clegg Road? All right, let's go to Goggles. Goggle Earth, just out of curiosity. The reason why I bring it up is because I've been kind of critical of Nordspace lately because I think they're trying to do a lot, and I'm just not 100% sure where all the cash is coming from. Like, this is a nice facility, but it's not. Blum, I don't necessarily think it's enough to do everything that they're saying. That's 60,000 square feet is not a lot. Oh, Ernock, look at that. There you go. So you have 2 loading docks. Your concern is how they're moving stages out of the building. I'm going to guess that they would use this dock. And don't get me wrong, that's a neat facility. I'd be like about this if they were gonna build one. If they're just gonna build one Tundra rocket and target 1 ton to space. But Buddy says he's already they're building the factory for the Tempest rocket. You're building the factory for a rocket which engines and propulsion don't exist. And like, don't get me wrong, guys. They can always make a door. I'm not worried about that. They can make a door, like, and you can obviously put air conditioning on this, which it does not have. That is not a climate-controlled structure. It's climate-controlled from here forward. What pad will this be used for? They have pads out. Not in Nova Scotia. They have pads in Newfoundland. Here, I'll see if I can go find them. That's in Toronto. Their pads are over here somewhere. The drone shots might be older. The drone shot pretty much reflects exactly how that building looks in Google Earth. I don't know, man. Neffenland? You want me to say Neffenland? I'm not saying Neffenland. It's somewhere over here. I don't know exactly where it is. Near St. Lawrence on the Burin Peninsula. It's out here somewhere. Look at these tiny little places. Interesting. Huh. It's somewhere over here. You wouldn't be able to see it, guys. It's just a field with a concrete slab at this point. But, yeah, neat. Neato burrito. Well, that's cool that they're expanding, but once again, I still think that Nord Space has very high ambitions. Like, I mean, they're getting into SAT bus manufacturing. They're flying a payload on transporter, on a SpaceX transporter mission. They're trying to build 3 rockets now because they mentioned that there's 3 of them. They're trying to make 3 different rockets at this point. Tundra, Tundra Plus, and Tempest. It was 2 rockets last week. Is this a polar rocket? It's something. I mean, we're talking about a company that doesn't really even have an operational engine at this point. Like, I've noticed this, guys, I've noticed a trend over the last couple of years. It's essentially that every rocket company is trying to every rocket company is basically billing themselves as, hey, we're not SpaceX, but we want to work like SpaceX, but we're not them. Look at all this stuff we're doing. We build satellites like SpaceX, right? See, it's your one-stop shop. You're all in capability. Here's the real estate link with inside pictures. Clegg. Blum. Okay. Yeah, fans. See? There's no AC in here. Like, the CEO of Nord Space is the CEO of like 5 companies according to LinkedIn. And the thing is that I think the interesting thing, guys, is that I think these people are fundamentally missing what's going on here. Like, SpaceX didn't start by trying to do everything. They started by doing the literal exact opposite, well, the actual exact opposite of that. Elon said the first thing was just build Falcon 1 and get it to work. That was it. And from there, once they got it to work after 4 tries, you know, that's when they started branching out to do other things. You know, then they got the Commercial Orbital Transport Services contract. But it's basically, SpaceX has been at a steady crawl. Every company that I've seen, that like new aerospace company that comes around, is just trying to emulate, like they're trying to compete with SpaceX almost. But even Blue makes this mistake. They're trying to compete with SpaceX. They're trying to do all this stuff, but except launch. Like, you gotta, they're overlooking the fact that SpaceX started with just being able to get something into space. I don't even think that roof would be able to hold HVAC units. Yeah, it would have to be on site, on the side or something. You do have industrial power in there. See the conduits? There is industrial power. There's a fire suppression system in here. And it looks like there's an office that's built into the loading dock area right here. And ironically, that office does have some type of HVAC system. Fellas, is that any Canadians here? Is that code? Is that code right there? Yeah, that's is that the drop ceiling that the wires are sitting on? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, this is not really a shot at Nord. This is more of just the company that vacated. Don't worry. Just has to look nice on the inside. Yeah. Yeah, I'm noticing loose chains on the drop ceiling right there. That's, I can speak to that. The loose chain. That's not how you do that. The chains are there in case the drop ceiling fails. And they're usually attached to light fixtures. So if the drop ceiling fails, the light fixtures don't fall on somebody Home Alone style and just, you know. That's yeah, that's hey Matt, what's going on? That's a way to do that. Yeah. Yeah, that's why you don't want the slack, because you don't want this thing to fall and then have the light fixture swing through and hit you in the face like Home Alone with the paint cans, you know what I mean? Part of the problem will always be investors. For any new space company, how do you intend to compete with SpaceX? Yeah, there's a real simple answer to that, Hazer. Launch things. Launch things into space. Yeah, I know. Weird concept. Your server room is not air conditioned? Question? Am I dumb? I mean, I know I'm dumb, but just looks like it beats a 10 on the beach. Just you, yeah, right. 13 million in grants from the Canadian government. Okay. Can I just see something real quick? It's Canada. Just open a window. Yeah. Oh, thank God. Okay. Yeah, all right. There's the HVAC systems for the server room. Got it. Cool. Oh, that was concerning. Please read what's going to happen on day 15 post-IPO. The stock is about to hit 1,000. The SpaceX stock? Well, like I said, I'm kind of skeptical of Nord Space, but also at the same time, you know, hey, tangible items talk like a big facility like that, so we'll see.
Welcome to ETF Edge, your go.
No, I'm not watching ETF Edge. Get that off the screen. All right. Why Securities anticipates even bigger days ahead for SpaceX. The one shop I worked in used a window air conditioner for the server room that vented into the shop space. That's the... okay. Peter Hayes, the firm's head of security of index and market structure, suggests SpaceX public debut is only a small part of the larger SpaceX timeline. He's urging investors to pay close attention to when SpaceX is added to the key indexes, including the S&P Total Market Index, MCI Global Index, Russell Indexes, and the Nasdaq 100 early this summer. Day 15 after SpaceX goes public, which should be July 6th, will be the day that Nasdaq rebalances the 100 index to reflect SpaceX's IPO shares. That's the pump, yeah, right. The S&P 500 Index Committee announced earlier this month that SpaceX will not be fast-tracked into the industry, meaning that Elon must trade on the market for at least 1 year until it becomes eligible. Interesting. Closed on the day at 201.80. Dude, it spiked to 222 while I was in the dentist chair. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had the stock up while they were working on my teeth. I was like, only for a second though. I don't know, man. I don't want to jinx it, and I do have a stock. I have one stock in SpaceX right now, but guys, I really don't. Let me put it to you like this. You know, employees are going to, when the options go live, they're going to exercise that and it's going to dip. But you know who's going to pick it up? People that know what SpaceX is. Those are the people that are going to pick it up. It'll be like Tesla. If you know, you know. If I knew what I knew now, I would have invested in Tesla a long time ago. I don't even like electric cars that much. Like, just saying. By mid-July, the stock will hit 1,000 and Elon will build a Death Star. People are investing for different reasons. Well, little stuff like this, I've been trying to brush up on stocks and stuff. Little stuff like this is pump and dumps, right? So people put in a lot of money, right? You buy in at 200 with a chunk of change, right? Stock starts going up, it goes up like crazy. And then if you sell at 218 with a huge chunk of money, it's like arbitrage, but for stocks, you're gonna make money. Like if you have $1 million, you put in $1 million worth of shares, boom, it spikes it, right? And then you sell immediately when it spikes, and you can do little micro transactions like that, and you can make money. You can pump and dump. I think that's what that's called. Mr. Taxman loves that. Yeah, I know. Capital gains, bruh. Yeah, day traders and stuff. They, buy low, sell high. Exactly. Exactamundo. But yeah, interesting. It closed at 200 on the day. 24% up on the day. 39 for the past 5 days. Okay. Once again, fellas, I know SpaceX. The second that Starship works and they have the money now to make it work, there's going to be markets that I don't think even people understand that, even remotely understand that could exist. SpaceX wouldn't put out 22 trillion in enterprising applications for SpaceX's intellectual property if they weren't absolutely serious, you know? It'll drop belt fed a little bit, and then all the people that are saying it's gonna dip, it'll spike right back up. Because look, you can already see that. Keep in mind this is a couple days, right? Anytime it goes down, it spikes immediately right back up. You know, because people see the stock go down. Oh man, I can make a quick buck, and they buy in, right? I just if SpaceX does even 10% of the stuff that they said they're going to do in their S1, even 10% of that, the stock ain't going down. I just really don't think it is. But then again, I'm not an investor. I know dick about this. This is not financial advice. I know SpaceX and I know rockets. I just don't think that's going to happen. What does this cash influx mean? They can buy what they didn't buy before. Jib, okay, let me put it to you like this. With the market closing today, with SpaceX, the market closing with SpaceX at 201.80 on a 135 IPO for like, what was it, guys? Like, I think it was like 6 million shares or something. That means SpaceX has basically received more or less the $160 billion capital investment over the last week. $160 billion investment from people buying the stock. I mean, keep in mind, guys, this is the stock with Starship not operational. This is the stock with just Falcon 9. Like, and even then, that's just a small part of this. Like, apparently Nordspace is planning on building their own Starlink called Kestrel. Yeah. People actually think that the Gigabay Starship manufacturing buildings are going to be surprised when those things lift off. In reality, they're Borg cubes. Not sure what that means, Goalie, but all right. SpaceX doesn't get any money beyond the IPO. Oh, okay. So instead of 160, it's $80 billion. Yeah, all right. Yeah, no, good call. Only 85. Only 85 billion went to SpaceX, guys. A meme stock based on nothing more than Elon BS generated hype. That's it. You think so? Huh. Interesting. All right. Cat, I'll be the first one to say that, SpaceX takes the impossible and makes it late, really late, or just doesn't do it at all if they decide to do something different, right? But also at the same time, bro, I don't know, man. I wouldn't say it's a meme stock, but, I can see how someone would see that, sure. Anyway, check this out. Speaking of SpaceX, some interesting dates came on the FAA's launch schedule here. My buddy Niall actually did a post about this. An FCC filing for a Starship orbital return demo. Yeah, Operation Start date, July 29th to December 28th. This is actually FCC, if I'm understanding. Yeah, that's FCC, not FAA. I said FAA. It's not that. So yeah, we're looking at another one, at least July. Love the Outer Worlds t-shirt. Right on, right on. When Starship is orbiting the moon anytime this decade, I might take them more seriously. Fair criticism. Actually, this is not exactly what I was talking about, but yeah, we have Starship FCC filing for, that's most likely for Flight 13. SpaceX SpaceX did have another FAA filing. Believe it or not, dudes, I have to go find this. There is a Starfall demo that's going to be happening soon, launched on a Falcon 9. SpaceX is going to test their return vehicles. SpaceX is basically making little micropods, like small 3-meter heat shields, right, for on-orbit manufacturing or whatever. And they're based off of Dragon heat shields. right, to be able to return cargo back down very easily. It's basically just a heat shield with a parachute attached to the back, and you can put whatever you want on it. There is supposedly a demo for this called Starfall that's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. That filing was for Flight 14. Oh, really? Damn. Starfall is on the 21st. There you go, Cosmolux. Thank you. I wonder if there were rules on this stock. Yeah, the S1 form basically should tell you everything you need to know. Do you think Starfall pucks will be reusable? No. No, I don't think so.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Tally, 23-month resub. Thank you. So yeah, we got flight. Actually, Phil, you know, now that I'm really thinking about this, if that's for Flight 14 on July 29th, yeah, 13. The opening on July 29th, the 13's, that tells me that 13 is happening sometime in the middle of July. So, hey, Telstar, 2 pounds. What would be the best use for Starfall? SpaceX has, here, I'll show you. I'm trying to find a picture of them. So this is from SpaceX's presentation here. So they deploy these things, right? And built into the heat shield, you have some type of industrial process that requires microgravity, right? And all this stuff is attached to the sat bus, right? And then the satellite will deorbit because it's based off of a Starlink bus, and then it'll pop the 4 heat shield pucks out, and you re-enter with whatever when the industrial process is completed. There are certain things that make more sense to manufacture in space. Pharmaceuticals, for instance. What I'm trying to tell you is that, like, you can make more potent drugs in space if you synthesize them in microgravity. You get a more potent yield when you synthesize not under 1G. That was proven in the shuttle program with the CFIS experiment. So if SpaceX finds a way to do that in mass, there's one of your enterprising applications. Starfall is direct-to-customer Starlink terminal delivery. Yeah. So 13 with a catch attempt after what happened, what you think? I think if 13 will not be a catch attempt, no. Do you think it's going to be a catch attempt? I'm going to go ahead and guess that Flight 13 is going to be an exact copy of Flight 12. They got to get that on-orbit relight done. He grows weed killer, man. Star drugs, yeah, right. Will they attempt the catch of a ship before the next attempt of a booster? I don't think so. I think they're going to go booster first. That's the other thing. They didn't prove out with Flight 12 that the booster could land accurately enough because the flip maneuver caused prop slosh and blew it up. I know, Aqualex, it was just an example with the pharmaceuticals. But yeah, there's all types of enterprising applications with this that could be useful. I'm just not entirely sure how you're going to do this in mass. And if you do this, why not just send up a starship, manufacture the stuff, and have it come back down? Why use heat shields? I don't understand that part, but whatever. All right. So yeah, that's what's going on with Starship here. This is from Revel.io. Impulse Space is on a mission to accelerate humanity's future beyond Earth. To get there, they are building a spacecraft. They're building the spacecraft that will advance the orbital economy, and they need to test as fast as they build. Before Revel, standing up a new test stand took 1 to 3 weeks. Would it have to do with the master landing? Possible. It's not cheap, but I'm sure the government will buy it. Standing up a new test stand took 1 to 3 weeks. First time deployments could take up to 3 months. Software changes required looping in a specialist, and the team was locked in to a single DAQ ecosystem. Now, stands are up in days, sometimes even hours. Engineers self-serve on sequence changes. Program runs multiple test fires a day instead of one every other day. And with the ability to mix and match hardware across vendor ecosystems, the team saves over 100 on hardware alone. Today, Revel runs across hundreds of Impulse assets, engine stands, vacuum chambers, avionics test stands, facility monitoring, and more, creating a single code base that can be maintained and deployed consistently at scale. Thanks to Tom Mueller and Eric Romo, Dane Sarcone, Julia Viborni, Trevor Hankin, and the rest of the Impulse Space team for this partnership. Interesting. Yeah, living, yeah, maybe. It's the software stack for testing. It's modular software to complement the modular hardware that's needed for basically increasing throughput in your testing regime for engines and stuff. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna follow Revel. I did not know too much. I don't know too much about this. They're building stuff for Impulse Space. Impulse is a company that was founded by Tom Mueller, SpaceX employee number 2. There's Tom right there. Impulse is currently working on Methalox kick stages for other rockets. Who does number 2 work for? He works for Impulse Space. Firefest says, you're guessing that's why they have the heat shield so the data doesn't burn up in the atmosphere. Oh, interesting. Wasn't he number 1? No, that was Smitty Werben Jaegerman Jensen. He was number 1. Yeah, see, Impulse, this is what I wanted to find. Impulse is working on this. This is the Helios kick stage right here. It's a cryogenic third stage that's running off methane. Pretty cool. Telstar 86 becoming a flight controller over on YouTube. Thank you very much. Thanks, man. It's good to see you. Oh, when was this? April 1st. No. Look. Yeah. Oh, come on now. Oh. Pinky Mars. Pinky Mars. Pinky. That plume is very overexpanded. Technique. Does that kick stage need its own fuel umbilical? Yeah, and believe it or not, 39A is already tooled up for it. 39A can load cryogenic methalox. They've done it with Falcon 9 before, which is actually super cool. Cool. All right. I'm looking around to see if there's much more. The cycle is kind of slow, but I do have something to show you guys. Just make sure we get through all the space news before we do that. My damn social media feed is filled with bloody Scotsmen everywhere. Scotsmen are invading my freaking state, mate. Ridiculous. Hey, Drew, what's going on? Where's the Shotwell interview? I don't see it on YouTube. Yeah, I think it's on X, I think. Seriously, my feed is full of Scottish people discovering my city, but oh. Quick train news, if you're feeling limber. 4014 has arrived at Steamtown, and it's next to 4012. Who shot this video, just so give credit where credit is due. Bricksuit shot this. Oh. Sick. So that's two Alco 4000s right there. One of them is operable, the other one is not, for the people that care. So in Steamtown is a National Historic Site that's owned by the U.S. government that has it's a collection of steam locomotives. Some of them work, some of them don't. 4012 is inoperable. But, guys, I was actually reading about this the other day. I was reading about this last night, actually. So check this out. It's no accident that they sent 4014, the operable big boy locomotive. This is the only one that works. There were originally 25 made, and there's only 7 left. You're looking at 2 of them right here. Okay? This one was restored by Union Pacific, the operator for these engines in the 40s, in the 50s, and into the 60s. Just a little bit into the 60s. Pad deluge test at Starbase. Small one, though. So, Union Pacific restored this one. They restored 4014 after they bought it. 4012 was donated to Steamtown back in the day, in the early 60s. Right? And 4014 came to Steamtown. More pad deluge. .4014 came to Steamtown as a demonstration thing to make sure that a big boy class locomotive could get to Scranton under its own power. Scranton is where Steamtown is. It's in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Another deluge test. What are they doing out there? 3 deluge tests on the pad at Starbase. So 4014 is using this as a test to see how the tracks fare with this heavy of a locomotive. The reason why they're doing that is because Steamtown's looking to restore 4012 to operatable condition. Oh, okay, Andrew. Yeah, you heard that right. This is a test. 4014 coming here for the 250th is a test to make sure the rails can take an operable big boy rolling around. It's a test because Steamtown wants to restore 4012. 4012's boiler is still in good condition. I was reading about this the other day. I forget where I read it. It was somewhere weird on social media. I assure you I would not report this news if I didn't know it was true. Because trains are amazing. I love trains and I love big boys. You just saw it in 2102, Arctic? Nice. Yeah, so what do you do when you bring a bunch of... Arctic, can I show this? Can I show that? What do you do when you bring a bunch of operable steam locomotives all together for a good... for a good time? You drag race them, obviously. Now, that isn't two big boys. That's 2102 and 4014. 2102 is an FEF, if I'm remembering right. You're right, they use the big boy to test the bridges in that area. Bro! That's freaking sick, dude. Oh, man. 2102 is a Reading Railroad T1. All right, so it's a 484. So it's not an FEF, but it is a 484. FEF is Alco's 484 name, just like an Alco 4000 is a 4884. For the people that have no freaking idea what I'm talking about, we're talking about the amount of wheels. That's how you discern like steam engines. All right, so the big boy, you have 4 wheels up front, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's 4, and then you have 8 drive wheels, 4 on each side for the first part, and then you have another 8 drive wheels behind that, and then another bogie in the back that has 4 wheels. So it's a 4884 articulated. That's the biggest steam locomotive ever built, right there. 2102 is half of it. It's basically one of that. It's cut in half, but I think 2102, because it's a T1, is Baldwin. I don't think it's an Alco. So if it's Baldwin, I don't care. Is there a reason 4014 has the name Big Boy? That's just the name of it, dude. That's what they called it because it's a big frigging locomotive. The Big Boys, I mean, look at the people. Look at the people standing next to it. It's freaking huge. You don't realize how big one of these things is until you get it. There's a reason why they call it the Big Boy. The Big Boy is a slang term, though. It's an Alco 4000. I call it what the company that built it calls it. It's American Locomotive Corp company built these things. It's a 4000 series. There's an Alco 3000 series too. That's called the Challenger class. So there's Challenger class and there's Big Boy. Challenger is a 4664. It's a little bit smaller than the Big Boy. Aqualex, they're gigantic. I mean, steam locomotives are huge. You don't really realize how big they are. Is this a Baldwin? I think it's a Baldwin, so I don't care. See, you got four bogies or 4 wheels in the back, so 2102 is a 484. It's half. It's quite actually half of a Big Boy. It's not half. The FEF is technically half of a Big Boy, if you really want to know. It just looks weird with the... What is that? What are those? SD40s behind him? I wonder what 5020 is. You'll take a Grizzly A4 any day. That's speed. Yeah, sure. You can take that, but I bet you that that 844 can go faster. More big boys, more better. Yeah. And guys, they carry the diesels. They carry the diesel locomotives behind them for better braking because these have dynamic brakes. Which is why steam engines aren't relevant anymore, and they haven't been since the late 1950s. But yeah, the diesels have the electric brakes. They have dynamic braking, which makes them way easier to manage your energy. It's an SD50. Cool. Yeah. And I got the company right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So what do you do when you have a bunch of operable steam locomotives next to each other? You drag race them, obviously. Why would you have... Of course you do. Why wouldn't you do that? You wouldn't do that? I love trains. Trains are amazing. I'm pretty sure that 4014 itinerary is going to pass about 50 yards from your house on its way back west after it leaves Altoona. Nice, dude. We are wishing you both a wonderful anniversary tomorrow. All the best, many more years to come, from Christy and Carl. Thanks, Home Bella. Appreciate you. Does that cow catcher on the big boy come off so you could stack them? I don't think so. The big boys were supposed to be called the Wasatch class after the mountains they were meant to run over. Then an unknown Alco employee wrote Big Boy on it, and just like 4014 has in the video, and the name stuck. Yeah, baby. Your Big Boy maxes out at 80 miles an hour. Yeah. It maxes out at 80 miles an hour, but it can pull a train like 20 miles long by itself. It has 6,000 horsepower. Actually, 6,250. Some versions had 7,000 horsepower. That's powerful by modern standards, dude. Yeah, you could take your speed. I'll pull your entire city down the line with a big boy. That's fine. You have your speed with your A4, your green locomotive, whatever. Whatever. 4014 could pull a freaking battleship, dude. I don't see no A4 doing that. But I need to get to 88. I bet you if you had a stable grade, you could get that firebox hotter than the 7th circle of hell, you could probably hit 88 miles an hour. Guys, it's simple, all right? You stoke the boiler with solid rocket fuel. That'll get it hot. What it'll do after that, I don't know. It'll get it hot, though. it'll get it hot. Like, the whole boiler would explode. What? All right, fine. Then don't rivet the boiler, okay? Don't rivet the boiler. Stir weld the boiler. And make it out of aluminum. See where I'm going with this? Look, all I'm saying is that it'll work. Okay? Just make the boiler a COPV, an overwrap pressure vent. That's actually a really good idea. That would be a gigantic COPV. Can you imagine a COPV as big as a steam engine boiler? That'd be a pretty big boiler. So just reading a little, 80 mile an hour designated and 602 kilonewton tractive effort. Yeah, Bright, it's quite... The tractive effort is comparable to rocket engines. That's how much power that thing makes. 7,000 horse. 7,000 horsepower. Dude, modern locomotives don't have that. That's why when 4014 isn't doing like cruises for special events, they just use it to move stuff. Because it has 7,000 horsepower. Why would you not do that? Right? Like, what is the thermal limit for a COPV? They can get pretty hot, dude. Can you imagine, Bright? Can you imagine that thing going 80 miles an hour? It sounds dangerous. Sounds dangerously cool. That thing goes 80 miles an hour. You got to be kidding me. Hang on. That's fast, dude. The sound she makes. So 4014 has the whistle is from a steamboat because you want to get out of the way when this thing is coming. I love that noise, dude. Yeah, 4014 pushed the stalled freight train too. Yep. The whoo is 2102. No, I'm saying when she's going 80. Oh, dude, I'd want to hear that. Arctic, you got more? I'm guessing you love trains too? No, I think they're dumb. Yeah, of course I love trains. See above. Also, doesn't the locomotive want weight to increase the traction of the drive wheels? So wouldn't a COPV be bad? Yeah, technically. I mean, so Drew, all right, we'll go in a different direction here. We want the tractive effort, right? So don't use a stir welded aluminum pressure vessel for your boiler. Use a vacuum jacketed pressure vessel, similar to like the ones that you'd find on a tank farm. Use that. That'll work. That will work good. That'll work really good. And vacuum jacketed for better thermals. That's a really good idea. We should do that. Too bad that America doesn't like trains. That's not true at all. We don't like passenger trains, visualize. That's not true at all, dude. Oh, we love trains. Our railroad network's the most comprehensive one on the planet by a long shot. It just doesn't move people. The reason why is we optimize that. Instead of taking the train and rolling it on rails, we put some wings on the side and then put some wheels, some rubber wheels underneath it and 2 turbofans, and our trains are in the air. That's our high-speed rail. If you think about it like that, the U.S. makes a lot more sense. The rail network is optimized for freight, and dude, it is a big rail network. It's a big mother. Now, am I going to sit here and say that I don't want high-speed rail? No, that would be cool to have too. I'm greedy. I want all the things. Coming to a level crossing. Imagine trying to keep a vacuum jacketing system operational as a major component of a steam locomotive. What, is the boiler not heating stuff up? Does that not create a vacuum? Open loop vacuum jacketing, brother. Come on. Come on. It's doable. It's doable. What, you got to stoke the firebox with something. You got to induce the firebox. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do? You got to make a vacuum to do it, bro. Easy peasy, man. I'm telling you. And don't get me wrong, this modernized steam locomotive that I keep talking about, functionally freaking useless. You can't compare to a diesel electric. I'm sorry. It's just, or a straight electric. It's just not going to happen. But also, oh, nice, Geek. That's cool, man. Take some pictures when it goes by. Just make the boiler a nuclear reactor and be done with it. France actually does that, except that then, get this. They do something really weird. They don't actually put the nuclear reactor on the train. They put it in the ground, right? And then wire it to train tracks with electric catenaries over them, and then the train just uses the electrical part. They were thinking very well over there. That is a very good idea. I'm sorry, I just got to watch this one more time. I do have some aerospace stuff to show you guys. Nice, Joe. That's nice. Bro, what a monster. That thing is freaking huge, dude. It's freaking huge. Look at how big that locomotive is. How's that any different to normal electric trains on rails? It's not, Telstar. That's the joke. It's not, dude. That's, yeah. Nuclear electric trains are the end-all, be-all of train technology, in my opinion. Not in my opinion, it really is. If you electrify it and then make the thing nuclear powered, then, yeah. If you want efficiency, how much efficiency do you want? All of it. I don't think they've ever highballed 4014 Tessa, but UP highballed 3985 back in the day, which was a 4664. It was a Challenger class. There's footage around on the internet of that thing doing like 85, 90 miles an hour, which is bananas fast. It's pretty righteous, dude. The noise that it makes is ridiculous. It sounds like a sewing machine, but way louder. I have one more if you're into it. Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I am a fan. We will see it. What do we got? 4014 departs Pittston. Yeah, but 3985 they got up to full speed. I yet to see 4014 going 80, 90 miles an hour. That's awesome. Dude, that thing is huge. Oh, it's so good. What a crazy amount of power that thing is. Oh my goodness. That thing is sick. I love it. Dude, did we just brick the stream? Did the big boy just brick the stream? Living here in Austria, we have passes the Alps where the trains which break on the way down serve as a generator to put power back into the line. That's super cool. I like that. Twitch is taking a dump. YouTube, you guys are still here, right? Some Polar Express stuff. Davensky, a big boy is double what the locomotive from Polar Express is. It's 2 times the size of it and 2 times as powerful. Not on YouTube. Yep, YouTube's all right. All this talk of trains reminds me of the footage of the nuclear flash where they ran a train into one at 100 miles an hour. Yeah. Good stuff. Twitch be twitching right now. Yep. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold up. Okay, so there's the Union Pacific passenger car consist, which is super cool, right? Did I see that right at the back of the train? If Arctic, don't say anything. Did I saw. It was, wasn't it? So you got some Norfolk Southern cars here. That's a sleeper car. That's a Vista car. Son of a bitch! It is. That's a Pullman Marco Polo, dude. That's the presidential consist that FDR rode around the country in. That's Marco Polo. It's pulling Marco Polo? I didn't know that. So we were talking about Air Force One a little bit earlier on stream, VC-25. That's the train equivalent from the 40s. Dude, it's pulling. Whoa, when did this happen? Where did it pick this up? I didn't know this. That's Franklin Delano Roosevelt's presidential train car. It's pulling that at the back. That's awesome. Whoa. I was just scrubbing through the footage and I was like, oh yeah, Norfolk Southern, Norfolk Southern, Norfolk. What is that? It's freaking Marco Polo. That's freaking cool, dude. Norfolk Southern has a few cars when they entered NS territory. Okay. Hey Tatum, what's going on? Freaking presidential train car. You've got to be kidding me. I did not know that. I didn't know that Marco Polo was at the back. It must have picked it up before at some point through the trip. That's... Where did it pick it? Where the heck did it pick that up? I can't believe it's operable. The thing is working. Huh. Is that the car that Truman held up the Dewey Beats Truman newspaper after the 48 election? It might be, dude. I don't know for sure. I can't believe that. That's super cool. What a little Easter egg that 4014 is carrying out back. That's really neat, man. Okay, fellas, this is kind of, we got through all the space news and some train news as well. There is more space stuff that I wanted to show you. It's not necessarily new space news, but I think you would like it. Let me just make sure I got all the right flickers up. So, the San Diego Air and Space Museum has a Flickr account, right? And this is their archive account. And there's a bunch of crazy stuff in here, actually. But I'm looking for it. Give me one sec. They have a bunch of really awesome, just, well, archives from past projects, right? I wonder if it's in albums. Here's a funny thing with modern trains. I get why we wouldn't want to electrify all our rail, but there's no reason why we can't slap a pantograph on all of our DE locomotives and put some catenaries up on the spot. It's because we don't want to. Yeah. Yeah, it's because we don't want to. That's the big one. And you think I'm being like, oh no, that's not going to work. It's not that it's a good idea. It's that we don't want to. It's not. And what I'm telling you is that it's not really a matter of cost or anything else like that. We could do it. Of course we could do it. Of course we could. We don't want to. Sorry, the truth hurts, right? Like, did you have this? No, I did not. Where is it? 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 It doesn't matter. Here. So, check this out. In the archives, there is footage or extra pictures from the X-33 program. This was an SSTO program that Lockheed Martin was working on 25 years ago. And they have all pictures, some of the pictures we've seen, like when they were weight testing the Strongback. Other pictures, we haven't. That's them doing umbilical testing. There's the TSMU for it. The umbilical housing test. Oh, baby. Here. There we go. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? Alex, you said look in here. That's in... Is that Toulouse? It is. Wow. These would have been useful during pad design. Yeah, look at this. You guys know what that is, right? That's the bilobe tank. That's the Rohr Goodrich collection. Oh, okay. I'm not interested in that right now. I'm interested in all these X-33 parts that we've never seen before. There's one of the frickin' wings, damn it. Dude, they had the Nomex on the frickin' wing. I haven't looked through these on purpose, so I could look through them with you guys. This is, the X-33 was a prototype SSTO. Lockheed was using carbon composite fuel tanks like what Electron uses, but it was 25 years ago. They didn't have them dialed in just yet, so they leaked. And the leaking and the structure, the leaking tanks from the structural testing of the bilobe tanks, the bilobe carbon composite tanks caused them to cancel the project. When it was like, when the X-33, which was a suborbital demonstrator, was like probably about 80 to 90% done. That collection is where the X-33 pictures are. Oh, look. Metallic heat shields. Bro, you gotta be That's the tiles. The metal back tiles with cilia behind it. Or silica tiles behind it. Well, silica fibers behind a titanium plate. Metallic tiles, guys. Yep. It's funny because that's almost very similar to Starship's tiles with the crunch wrap behind it, except it's not a metallic face. They were cooking. They were cooking some tiles, Cirrus, for sure. Man, why didn't they let him finish? You said it's in this album here? They have a lot of cool... Is that Bart? That's Bart. All right. Oh, look. Junk. I'm looking for it. There's so much... What the hell? How many motors you want? B-24D final assembly line. I think that's Willow Run. Yeah, that's the airplane factory that I think is really neat. Hello. More on the tile backing. Yeah, so there's like tons of pictures. Yeah, see? they had titanium plates, guys, as the thermal protection system, right? And then they had very similar to SpaceX's Crunchwrap stuff that they backed Starship's tiles with. They had these basically taped to the back of a titanium tile to make a metallic reusable heat shield. That was the plan. Look at those computers. Man. I'm looking for X-33 stuff. Nice quackulator. Yep, there it is. There's the metallic tiles right there. See them? With the backing plates behind it. The X-33 was going to have a metallic reusable heat shield. And that would have worked. Titanium with silica backing, yeah, that would have worked. I can pretty confidently say that would have worked. A little bit on the heavy side, but it would have worked. Like SR-71 skin, better than SR-71. It looks like these things are making airplane cowls. I think that's where SpaceX got the idea from. Maybe. Would have worked if it weren't for you meddling. Leading edge. Leading edge for the wing assembly, dudes. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah, this is so those things go on the leading edge right there. And dude, look at the mandrels behind it. Oh, you've got to be kidding me, dude. Man, we knew that the X-33 was. We knew that it was along, right? We knew that it was pretty far along, but we've never seen pictures of it. There's the Nomex. That's the leeward side thermal protection system derived from the space shuttle. That's an engine. That's a shyster. Buddy's just sitting in it. Dude, there's so much stuff in here. I'm sorry to make you more mad, but this happened last week. Look how they massacred my boy. Look how they massacred my boy. They blew up the launch plate too. See the smoke from the center? Oh. No. Why? Why you do this? That's like my favorite launch pad getting blown away. Damn it. Oh. So that's Slick 6. Space Launch Complex 6 at Vandenberg. It was a shuttle pad. It was a shuttle launch complex. And what you saw just get blown away was the mobile service tower and the shuttle assembly building. Hate, die, hurt, ow. There's pictures of it being built. Does that help? Bob, where the hell did you get that footage from? And why would you show it to me? My beloved show. Ow! Why? Why you do this? I mean, it was a Delta 4 pad. It really hasn't been a shuttle pad since the 80s, but... Wait, Baron, did you link it? Or Bob link it? I don't know who linked it. Who linked that? Oh, Baron, you linked it, not Bob. All right. I mean, why? Oh, well, all right. Here's the thing. My initial crazy reaction aside, they're not demolishing it just because they're retiring the pad. SpaceX owns Slick 6. So Slick 6 was Delta 4 and Delta 4 Heavy's West Coast launch facility, right? Look at the launch mount. It's also gone. Yeah, So SpaceX got the lease for it, and here's what I'm going to say. All right, here's what I'm going to say. We don't know this for sure. The tentative plans for Slick 6 are to launch Falcons from there. Last we checked. But Delta 4's East Coast launch site was Slick 37. And Slick 37 is where SpaceX is building Starship pads now. So, by that logic, I'm hoping that Slick 6 will become a twin Starship launch pad complex thing. I'm hoping. It's unlikely. The plans that we've seen were for Falcon 9 there. How many Falcon pads are there total right now? 3. Dan, you got to see that pad in 2016 from a distance. Yeah, I knew they were going to demolish these buildings one of these days. Let me just put it this way. After seeing that, I'm annoyed, and now I'm just going to keep screaming into the void that it needs to be a Starship pad to avenge the shuttle pad. Okay? I'm just going to keep screaming into the void that needs to be a thing. All right? Until it actually happens, I will will that thing into existence. Okay? Unlike the X-33. I don't understand why everybody uses titanium for rocket stuff. When we use titanium for parts, in parts of the car, they suck. Everyone is going away from them because they just can't stand up to the beating of a car. Do you have a link for that? Baron can link it. I will not link you to that filth and gore in my stream. All right, what else do we got here? You guys just linked this. What is this about? I do have more train news, but it's train news that has to do with space, for what it's worth. Can you really call it a shuttle pad if it was not used? It was used for fitment tests? What do you think that's not being used? That is a shuttle on the pad. Alliance. This is a shot from inside of the building that just got blown away. I am not happy about that. Here's something to be more happy about, okay? Here, check this out. Kennedy Space Center released, the Kennedy Space Center proper account released this. That's an FEC locomotive pulling the SRBs for Artemis 3 to the junction that goes to Kennedy Space Center. Hellfish speaks the truth. Yeah, well, you know what? No, this is my stream. Piss off. All of you are wrong. I'm right. I know more about this than you. Okay? You're wrong. Deal with it. Look at this train. So this is the junction from FEC's line right here. Florida East Coast is the operator here. And this is the junction that goes over the causeway to get trains out to Kennedy Space Center. You should have had 4014 pull this train. Agreed. I'm not sure 4014 can go over that bridge. Well, then again, no, that's bullcrap. It absolutely can. The SRBs are just as heavy. Yeah, it absolutely could do this. I'm not sure about the rest of the tracks, though, but yeah, it should have pulled this. What do we got there? GP38? GP40? GP40 is a good locomotive. I mean, the fact that that one GP38 can pull all of that is pretty impressive. Or the one GP40 can pull all of that. Those are heavy freaking segments, man. Each one of those white carts is 250 tons. Tons! Tons. Tons. Yeah. The fact that I'm going to say that the only reason that this thing can pull that is because it's a level grade. One GP40 could not pull this up a 1% grade. It would very, very, very much have a bad day. More or less Arctic, yes. Each one of the things that say do not hump on it is 250 metric tons a pop. These are train tracks. I don't think the big boy can fit. Not with that attitude. Yeah, okay, there we go. I only saw 8 segments on that train before the video angle cut off. Let's see if they show the whole thing. Well, that is long. Will you ever continue your KSP shuttle project? I believe you were using a Slick 6 design for that. 201st, yeah. I'll get... I think we're at a good point where I can get back into my regular schedule with... I can get back into my regular schedule starting next week, you know. real life permitting. Can you explain the box cars? They carry the HVAC control systems to make sure these things stay cool. See Kraken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's interesting. They only got 8 segments. Actually, hold up. They don't have the heater, the hoses going to the cars this time around. Huh. Maybe it might be a contained system. So, Seakraken, if it's not for HVAC or anything, it's that's for spacing out the weight of the train. You have less point load with these things spread apart. So this is so you don't put like 2 casings on a bridge, going across a bridge or a trestle or whatever. Yeah, this disperses the weight of the train across a longer distance with the box cars there. Also could be for braking. Yeah, it's probably all of these things. That's the entrance to Kennedy Space Center right there. Will they be loaded with fuel already? The solid rocket boosters? Yeah, yes. They're fueled in, the segments are fueled in Ogden, Utah. These are the segments for SLS, guys. And I'm not sure why there's 8, interestingly enough. Maybe they can only move 8 at a time. And it's funny because the front car has a feeler. They have feeler brackets on there. So if you're going through a tunnel and one of these things hits, that means you're going to hit the casing. So it's like they're feelers to make sure that you can fit, because you don't. Yeah, if that thing gets hit, stop the train immediately, or else you're going to have a real bad day. Are the 2 aft segments already at the VAB? That would be my guess, Byte Builder, yeah. Yeah, the aft segments are already there. That's right. So this is the rest of them. It says do not hump. Yes. Yes, it says, they say do not hump. It's not that, but it kind of is that, but it's not. Is this the same system as the shuttle segments? Yes. SLS just uses 5 of them. Check this out. What's this? Uh-oh. That's not good. Why did you link this to me? That's not good. Okay, hump yards. All right, what is a hump yard in train terminology? When HO stream, sure, sometime. So North Platte is the biggest freight yard in the United States. It's right there, and you're looking at it, you're like, that's not very big. And then you look at the town next to it, and it's bigger than the town next to it. So see these 2 things right here, this kind of array and that array of tracks, they're called hump yards. What is a hump yard? Well, at one end of a hump yard, you have a hump. You have a hill, little tiny hill that you got to push the rail cars up and over. At the top of the hump yard, you have a decoupler that decouples the rail cars, and then you have a scanner. There's a scanning system right there. It scans the side of the car like a barcode. Right? So what happens is it scans the car, it'll decouple the car, and then based off of what was scanned, the boxcar or whatever, the consist will roll down the hill, and based off of whatever was scanned, it'll set the switch logic to move it to a certain line. A hump yard is sort of a train sorting system. So it involves freewheeling a car down a hill, right, onto the track, onto its respective track. Do you see why you don't want to do that with a fully loaded solid rocket booster casing car? Yeah. You really don't want that. You really don't want to do that with you don't want to do that with fully fueled solid rocket fuel. You don't want to freewheel that thing down, because what happens is there is brakes here, like brakes similar to a roller coaster. So those are braking systems, and the idea is that the car is maybe going 2 to 3 miles an hour by the time it gets to its sorting track, and then it just kind of rolls in. And the idea is that it's, when it couples up to the other cars, the couplers basically absorb the impact. I wouldn't do that. Even a 5 mile an hour hit with an SRB could cause a shock and blow the thing up. It's a solid rocket booster. It's not. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That would be a bad thing to do. It would make it go pop. We don't want to make it go pop. We want to put it in that building over there and make it fly. We want to make it go pop later, not now. That's why they say do not hump on the sides of all the consist, because yeah. Those are flowers. Oh, yeah, look at this. How artsy. I like it. That's a nice picture. Yeah, see there, Kara, it's funny because an FEC locomotive is pulling it, but these where they assemble the SRBs in Utah, Ogden, Utah, it's Union Pacific territory, so the consists are all painted in UP colors, and they have the UP logo on the side. Now you need to build a hump yard and workers. I don't think you can, Survey. We should go to North Platte for science, yeah. That is a really clean GP40. Freaking oil canning. So it's like a suggestion, this side up. Yeah. Yeah, note that the SRB cars have 4 bogies instead of 2. Because they hold up something that's pretty damn heavy. Feck. It's also articulated. It's an articulated car, double articulated car, which is actually pretty cool. That's the drawbridge down there to the causeway. That's the mechanical brakes on the car. What's up, playa? Yeah. Oh man, this brings me back to derail, dude. So these things right here, guys, are the mechanical brakes. The cars have mechanical and pneumatic brakes. The pneumatic brakes only work when a locomotive is hooked up. or you have a buffer tank. It's right underneath the boxcar right there. You can see it. It's just a little pressurized tank that it can carry for residual, right? And then there's a cutout so you can purge it. When they let these things go, right, when you uncouple, because they've uncoupled it onto two lines, my guess is the reason why they've done that is so they don't transport the whole thing across the causeway at once. They're probably too heavy. When you uncouple it, the lines basically drain, the air brake lines. You can see them. There's the pneumatic lines right there. And if you don't have pressure, if you don't have pressure in the line, the brakes turn on. You need to have pressure to get the brakes to disengage. So that means, for the most part, the brakes only will disengage if a locomotive is hooked up. It's pretty straightforward logic, except if you have like a buffer tank. The buffer tank can help to an extent, but for the most part, what you would do is purge that tank and then apply the mechanical brakes. There's a little thing that you can pull, a check valve that you can pull and purge it underneath the car. It's similar to a truck, exactly. Zinthaus, this was on trains 100 years before trucks were invented. Well, not 100, about 50 years before trucks were invented. The guy that came up with this is a guy by the name of George Westinghouse. And yeah, he's the guy that patented pneumatic braking systems in the application of railroads. He started a company called Westinghouse Air Brake Technologies. Westinghouse Air Brake Technologies. It's called Wabtec. Wabtec is still around. Yeah. Any train that uses pneumatic braking systems is all Wabtec. That's like, yeah. It's a fail-safe. Yeah, I mean, Westinghouse saved millions of lives. I would say millions at this point with that. So, like, if you're driving your train, right, and the train car derails and becomes uncoupled, right, for whatever reason you have an uncoupled consist, it'll depressurize and all the brakes will turn on immediately and stop it. It helps prevent a runaway train. Westinghouse, the same guy that made ceiling fans. Westinghouse did a lot of stuff. That guy was, if you read about George Westinghouse, you want to just be like, oh, you just woke up and you decided you were going to be good at everything today. Okay, cool, sweet. Revolutionized trains, revolutionized power generation, whatever. Like I said, Wabtec's still around. It's one of the oldest companies in the United States. It's an American company formed by the merger of Westinghouse Air Brake Technology, Wabco, and Motive Power in 1999. Pretty crazy, right? Yeah, a little bit of a train tangent there, but still cool. So what that dude was doing, right, they have the pneumatics uncoupled, right? So they purged it. They purged the system, got all of the brakes, the air brakes to go, and then closed the mechanical brake on top of it. The mechanical brake, so think about it like this. The air brakes are like the pedal on an automobile, right? That's what those serve for, right? It's the brakes when you're driving around. That twisty thing, the mechanical brake, is your parking brake. That's the e-brake. But for trains. Like I said, you'd have how they do this is they'd have, they put the consists on the two separate tracks, they unload them, they put 4 on there, uncouple them, uncouple the pneumatic lines, but still keep it mechanically connected, let all the 4 sets of consist here, because they split it in 2, so there's 4 and 4 on either siding, depressurize 4 of the cars, but mechanically keep them connected, do all the brakes, uncouple, let them go, and then back in the other one on the opposing track over there, right? Same thing, depress, keep the locomotive coupled, apply all the manual brakes on every car, and then uncouple the locomotive and you're good to go. But they do it as a fail-safe, right? You always keep the locomotive, when you're uncoupling consist, always keep the locomotive attached, just in case. See how it's still attached? It's still attached while the guy was working on the left track. He was putting all the mechanical brakes on. So they would have purged the pneumatic system while the locomotive was attached, right? Got all the air brakes on the cars to disengage the air brakes so they engaged. Put all the mechanical brakes on while the locomotive's still attached. Then uncouple the locomotive. That way the e-brake is on every car. You don't want these rolling away. Right? See? There you go. Trains, baby. So if you ever wondered, like, what those little lines are that are underneath the couplers on a train, they're pneumatic lines for the brakes. You do not want those to not be hooked up. The train won't go anywhere. Sorry, Bright. Wabtec is cool, though. Yep, see? Mechanical brakes. Yeah, look at the load indicator. You haven't played that trade game in a minute. Mm-hmm. Do not hump. It's referring to what's called a hump yard, Cleater. Yeah. Hump yards are a sorting system for railroads where you freewheel the car down a hill and have it go through a set of switches to wherever it needs to go. It's a sorting system. You don't want to freewheel things that are full of SRB. What I don't understand, though, at this point, guys, is that they don't have the reefers attached to them. The HVAC systems are usually connected, but they don't seem to be connected. They mount on these platforms right here, but they don't seem to be hooked up, and I'm not sure why. How do they hump the cars? Do the lines still have pressure? Yes, they do, Ordon. The lines will still have pressure. Every car has basically a scuba tank attached underneath it. Remember, there's residual pressure, so you can freewheel it. It'll freewheel, but it won't freewheel for long. Just enough to get it down the hump yard. One of those big yards is in Flat Rock, not far from the plant. Yeah, I know it's wrong when it ain't got no air in it. Who wants to be a railroad brakeman? Yeah, if you ever wondered what guys in the caboose are for, that's what they're there for. The guys in the caboose are there to be basically a brakeman. Now, brakemen are there for other reasons, other than just going down and applying all the brakes, right? The brakeman actually keeps tension on the couplers because it's really easy to get runaway moment of inertia on a train. Trains are all about energy management, just like airplanes. It's all about energy management. You don't want to let it go too fast. If you get to let it go too fast, you get to a point where you can't slow down. I noticed the mechanical brakes are not on the motor casing cars. Is that because of the double articulation? They are. Yeah, they're there. No, Drew, they're definitely on that. It's just the wheels, the mechanical wheels are only on one side of the car. But yeah, see right there? This mechanical system should do all the wheels. Yeah, it does all of them. There's a linkage that runs underneath the car. It's quite actually a linkage. It looks like a linkage that you'd see on a throttle on a carburetor on an old car. So, just on a quick side note, guys, like the caboose doesn't just have the brakeman. What cabooses do is they keep the train taut because these couplers have a little bit of play in them, and you don't want to bunch up the train. Like if the train's going down a hill, you don't want to basically bottom out all your couplers. So the caboose now they just put another diesel locomotive at the other side. It's easier that way, better energy management. Once upon a time, the caboose, they'd control the brakes on the caboose to keep the train taut, to keep it sprung. It helps with stability going down hills and going up hills and stuff. Caboose, is that you? Can you hear me? Snowy, what's going on? But yeah, nowadays they just put another diesel locomotive at the end. And they just use the dynamic brake on that diesel operated remotely from the front thing to keep the train taut. Like I said, couplers are like suspension. You can compress them. You can compress them and decompress them, especially our couplers in the United States. In Europe, they don't. It's in the United States, a coupler is an integrated system. It's a coupler and a shock absorber. In Europe, they have a more of a hard attached system, and then the buffers or the absorber system are two big posts on each car. Like you see two big posts on either side. We don't do that. Our posts are integrated into the coupler, so the coupler can bend and flex. There's play in it. Did trains before telephones and the like have a telegraph cable through the carts so the head and tail could talk to each other? No, they used lamps. That's why the reason why. So, Seacracken, that's the reason why a caboose has that high section there. So you have a green and a red lantern. I love lamp. Yeah. So a little bit later into the future, like in the 30s and the 40s, the caboose was electrified, right? And you had a control board in the tower on the caboose, and you could flip the lights, green or red, to indicate to the locomotive that you're good to go. Yeah, they just use lights. Train. They are not used today. Cabooses aren't needed. Cabooses aren't needed because the rail systems are all data driven, guys. And there's remote control. So like you don't need a brakeman at the caboose. You just have one or two dudes in the front diesel locomotive, right? And then everything is just, you can link up the locomotives together and just, you could couple them all together and make them work as one unit. Yeah. No need to, like, if you see one or two, you see a freight train, it has like 3 or 4 engines in it. There's only guys in the lead locomotive. There's not dudes in every other locomotive. Once upon a time, you needed to do something like that, but that's why they invented B units. B units, you've seen them before. The B unit is a locomotive without the cab. And all it does is pick up on whatever locomotive it connects into. You could basically connect the wire harnesses together. And the right way to say it with modern terminology with a B unit is that it picks up on the data cables. But once upon a time, it was just electrical cables going back and forth because it was all analog. Can we play Derail already? Maybe on Thursday. Job of the caboose was replaced by the end of train device. Yeah, there's also that too. That's not the full job of the caboose though, dude. Once again, it's designed to keep tension on the couplers. The coupler, you don't want the couplers getting too, you don't want basically the train to have unsprung weight going down a hill. That would be bad. Yeah, see, there's B units right there. Hey. Nice. Whatever became of railroads online? Don't know. Don't care. Allegedly, it used to be a white light for go instead of a green light until one day when a red cover for a light broke off, the train got a false indication for a go instead of a stop. Yep. Yeah, so they had B units that could just pick up on the analog data signal from the A unit, from a locomotive, right? And then there was tractive effort booster units, which they still use, but here. A tractive effort booster unit is something that you'd put on the train to equalize your tractive effort, to basically make sure that the train has traction throughout the entire consist. If you're carrying a long enough train, you don't want engines at the front, just the front, and you definitely don't want engines at just the back. And in some cases, you don't want them in the front or the back. You want them front, back, and in the center. And enter the tractive effort unit. Tractive effort unit is just basically a locomotive with a gigantic weight attached to it. There's no cab, there's no nothing. You got the locomotive, right? And you have a generator to power it, and then it's just a big weight. Yeah, you only need a slug when you need to disperse the tractive effort along the longitudinal length of the train. Slugs are, it's called a slug or a tractive effort unit. They're only really there for when you need grip. It's hard for trains to get grip because you have metal wheels on metal rails. That's the Achilles heel of a locomotive, guys. The train can roll very easily on this, and it can roll for a very long period of time. But that's due to the low rolling resistance, metal wheel on a metal track. There's not a lot of contact point, right? It's just a little bit, this much, holding the entire train, like connecting the entire train to the ground, right? And it's metal on metal. It's tough to get traction. That is the train's Achilles heel, right? It simultaneously is what makes it really, really good. Because you have low rolling resistance, you don't need a lot of energy to get something very, very heavy moving, like solid rocket booster casings. Problem is that it's also, like I said, also the Achilles heel. It's tough to slow down. Trains need a long way to slow down. And what you really don't want to do is squeal the wheels. Like in the movies, when you see a train with the wheels locked up, that's bad. Is there a counterweight on trains today? Yeah, the locomotives. The B units, slugs, and locomotives are all one thing nowadays. So they did that so they only need to make one locomotive, dude. And you could just stack them. You just couple them together like Voltron. That's crazy, Goalie. Yep. I'll admit that guy's moving that consist pretty fast, considering what is aboard. Yeah, railways are very efficient at moving heavy things around, really efficiently. You do not need a lot of fuel to get a lot of stuff moving with a railroad. They're very efficient. Probably one of the most efficient ways to move a kilogram of mass around in the world. The only thing that would probably that I think would probably be more efficient is a container ship. Do they use sand? There's a sander built into a GP40, yes. Yeah, trains also carry a tub of sand on board, and you can throw the sander over the you can put sand in front of the wheels, and the sand gets crushed between the wheel and the rail, and that gives you more traction if you need it. In my opinion, if you have to use the sander, you're doing something wrong. You're not pulling what you should be pulling. That's just my opinion. In my armchair train engineer mind, the sander can be useful in scenarios where you know, like say the track's too steep. But if the track's too steep, carry less load. But we can't do that nowadays, right? Yeah. So why can't we ship produce to different states via train instead of truck? We do? Question? I mean, DMC, we use trains and trucks. Dudes, it's once again, everybody's like, oh, the U.S. hates rails. The U.S. hates rails. I assure you, our railway network is pretty damn comprehensive. Give me a second. This is the railway system with basically Class 1 operators in North America. That's not even including Class 2 and Class 3 operators like FEC. We have trains everywhere. I mean, even Canada. Everything links to Chicago. Do you know why? There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. If you guys want to go on a little bit of a history tangent to end space news, there's a reason why the vast majority of train tracks go to Chicago. Who knows? Lake Michigan? That's a good guess. Veiny US can't hurt you. It's not real. Somebody said it. Stockyards. Beef, baby. Why? The Chicago stockyards became a thing during the U.S. Civil War. The stockyards in Chicago, which was pretty centrally located around all the farms around the Midwest, was easily able to basically, every farmer could get their meat there to the stockyards in Chicago, and they could ship that meat to troops, to Union troops on the front line. So, railroads were made that delivered beef to Union soldiers during the Civil War. This is in the 1860s. And all the train lines ended up going to Chicago to help support the war effort. That's why all the tracks go to Chicago. And then they all kind of feed down where the Union soldiers were fighting, if you kind of look at how it's all made. That, believe it or not, guys, the stockyards in Chicago were the start of the military-industrial complex for the most part. Yeah. The government subsidized all the farmers and bought all their beef and used it to feed all their troops. Yep. That's why all the lines go to Chicago around the Midwest. That's why Chicago became a hub. That's why Chicago became the city that it is. Because of the stockyards. And then after the Civil War ended, well, you still got mouths to feed, and now you have a centralized hub where all your beef gets delivered. Boom, done. You could ship it wherever. You're on Lake Michigan. You ship it anywhere in the U.S. Anywhere along the East Coast, you ship it in a refrigerated ship. Well, it would have been an icebox ship at the time, but you get the idea. Oh, here's a better one. Yeah, if you think the U.S. doesn't, oh, you guys don't have trains. Oh, we have trains. We have a lot of trains. This is still only showing Class 1. But yeah, that's why all the tracks go to Chicago. And the president was from Illinois. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was the start of the military-industrial complex, dude. Seriously. Meat in Chicago. Not so much nowadays, but yeah, the stockyards in Chicago, that's the reason why Chicago became a hub for beef, the U.S. Civil War. Feeding your troops is important. Fun fact. And during World War II, that's where they built a lot of tanks. No. No. Tanks during World War II were made in Detroit. There's the Detroit Arsenal. It's in Sterling Heights. It's up here. It's around 10 Mile in Sterling Heights and around Warren, Michigan. Up here. Yeah, vast majority of, well, yeah, I mean, you see a lot of semi-trucks on the road, but the vast majority of cargo in this country gets moved by rail. I'd say over 50% easily. That's across the street from where you work. Right on. They may have transported live cattle before refrigeration was common, and the cattle was slaughtered locally. NYC Meatpacking District, for example. That's probably what's going on, yes. And then the steel industry around the Great Lakes made Chicago even more relevant. Bingo. That's actually the reason why Detroit exists, guys. Why Henry Ford chose to, why Detroit exists. No, it exists because Cadillac discovered it, if you really want to know. The reason why Detroit became known for automobiles is because Detroit was a railroad manufacturer. They made rail cars and bicycles before they made cars. That's the reason why Detroit became Detroit. Because you need a lot of rail cars to feed all those train tracks for all that meat packing, right? Henry Ford chose to start Ford there, and ipso facto kind of the automotive industry, because it had an industrial base building railway cars and bicycles. No joke. So yeah, the industry was already there. People knew how to make things out of metal. And stoves, yeah. Exactly. That's why Ford started in Detroit and basically made Detroit the Motor City. It's very centrally located. The other thing is that up here, Minnesota, Wisconsin, they mine what's called taconite, which is used. Taconite is used in iron ore. So there was already mining going on, and basically the iron ore freighters were already going to Detroit, and they were already going by to go out the St. Lawrence Seaway, right? There you go. Great spot for an industrial hub. It was because Detroit already was. It was known for railway cars. It was all fed by taconite from Duluth, Minnesota. It still is to an extent, yes. Yeah, taconite's iron ore, guys. They use it to make steel. And then guess what? They shipped it further down the seaway to down here. And then you could transport it by a train to Pittsburgh or wherever you need to go, Erie, whatever. Will this be on the test too? Well, yeah, sure. Is that why Duluth is so important? Yes. Duluth is a mining port, guys. I'm telling you, the United States, we hit the jackpot of resource distribution. Like, we have the Great Lakes, which basically allow you to get a ship into the middle of the country, and not a small one either. Like, if you look at Duluth, this is a mining port, dude. So they mine out the taconite, and they bring it in on trains, and they dump those trains with a really, really awesome mechanism that I just realized I get the excuse to tell you guys about it and how it works. Hell yeah. Onto, they're called lake freighters. Where are they? There's nothing in port right now, but they use a really cool system that actually grips the actual train car and flips it upside down. It's really, really freaking cool, actually. Ah, here it is. Oh no, that's grain silos. No, that's a conveyor belt storage. It's aggregate storage, just like in workers. Dang it, where's the flippy-do? The flippy-do is really cool. There's a lake freighter. Lake freighters don't look like regular ships. It's kind of closer to a barge because the Great Lakes don't. I was about to say the Great Lakes don't have as rough of seas as the ocean, but they do from time to time. But yeah, lake freighters are super long. See them right there? Gordon Lightfoot intensifies. Yeah. Further inland. Where's the damn flippy-do? Love that thing. No. No. Yeah? No. Yeah? Nope, that's a power plant. I don't think there's a flippy-do here, which is a shame. I'm telling you, this is the weirdest thing you've ever seen. It looks like a roller coaster for trains. That's right, Dwarf Man. Something. Gordy, yeah, what? Yeah. Nah. So, what this thing does is, like, it looks like a hump yard, right? And then the car rolls up a hill, right? And when it rolls up a hill, it switches, a track switches behind it. It goes down another mechanism into a huge overhead carriage that will actually just twist like flip the car upside down, dump its contents, flip it back over, and then let it keep rolling. The flippy-do is so cool. It's not just in Duluth. They are, yeah, they're in other places, but yeah. Is it this? Let me see. Yes and no. Yeah, that's kind of it, but it's not exactly what I'm talking about. Dwarfman, you got one for coal? Here, I'll show you. Oh. Where are we right now? Okay, so we're in Sandusky. All right, cool. That's the flippy-do. Yes, there it is. So the train has all the cars uncoupled, right? The train backs up through here, right? It backs the train up, and then it goes up a lift hill like a roller coaster. It uncouples the car here, and each car goes up this hill with the shuttle, just like I said, like a roller coaster. See the shuttle piece right there? It loads the car into this thing, and that whole thing twists the car upside down onto a conveyor. And the conveyor can load a ship up. You could just dump actually just dump the cars into the ship. And then, right, it dispenses it. It rolls down this hill, right? Rolls up that, right? It's empty now. Rolls up this. When it goes past this, it automatically trips the switch. And then it goes down here like a hump yard and gets put onto the sorting tracks. The flippy-do. It's super freaking cool, dude. Hey, they make brake pads there. Cedar Point. Yeah. Yeah, that's the flippy-do. Cedar Point is over here. It's actually, yeah, it's right there. Some of the biggest roller coasters in the world are at Cedar Point, which is pretty cool. They don't even show up on photogrammetry. Brimo has yet to take me here. I've never been. Yeah, Cedar Point's awesome. But the flippy-do is cool as well. Legendary here. Brimo knows. Of course Brimo knows. But yeah, there's your little... So we went from SRB trains to the flippy-do. Whose footage is this? NKY Rail Fan. Oh yeah, did I mention that it's also an elevator to get the materials like up in the air? Yeah, there's a deluge system. Keeps the dust down. Yeah, coal dust is bad for you. It'll give you the black lung. Is that flipping a train car? Yes. Yes, it is. It's the flippy-do. I don't know its technical name, so I call it the flippy-do. See? And all the coal goes down into this belt. See it's solids control right there. And watch. It'll let the sucker down, right, and then it'll push it out. Watch this. And look, it's lifted another one. Oh, that's super smart. One car pushes the other car out of the way with the lift shuttle. Ew, that's really smart. And watch this. Deluge to prevent a static fire. That's correct. Whoop. Nope. Flip the switch. Click down the other track. How hard would it be to put a Centaur in SLS? I can't imagine that you can just reinforce the tanks. You'd need a load reactor, Lemon. There's the braking. Yep. See that? Do you see what's going on right here? That's humping a railroad car. Do you see why you don't want to do that with a solid rocket booster car? Probably not a good idea, especially this part. Do that with the SRB, YOLO. No. How's it going so fast? It's at 4 times speed, guys. Watch this next part. Oh, he moved the camera away. Pretty cool, huh? I think that's super neat. The flippy-do. You know somebody just came along and was like, you know what we should do? Just pick the stupid car up and throw it. Yeah, there you go. Rolling resistance, right? Steel wheel, steel rail, man. Low rolling resistance. That's what makes trains so good. Rail yards in KSP when. Yeah, see? Somebody's just like, you know what? Just lift the stupid thing up and flip it. Rotary car dumpers or wagon tippers. Hey, thanks, Telstar. 2 pounds. Sorry for the dumb question, but can you please explain what a load reactor is? It's bracing for the stage, Lemon. It's just bracing. You'd need... Dude. That freaking train car is upside down. You just flip the stupid thing over. Just flip it over. Damn, that's cool. All right, anyway. Centaur. Atlas 500. So with Atlas 500, you have a Centaur. This Atlas 500 series is the reason why I knew you can't just throw a Centaur up there. You're going to need to build a load reactor. So what's a load reactor? All right, so take a look here. So this is a picture of an Atlas 500. Atlas 500 has a Centaur 3 attached to it. Now keep in mind, Centaur 3 is not Centaur 5, but they have very similar tank wall thickness. Okay? The Centaur stage is made out of stainless steel, and the stainless steel thickness is maybe 2 millimeter, maybe. Probably less than that. It's about half of a dime. So, actually, it's closer to 1 mil, right? It relies on pressure to stay structurally rigid. However, there's only so much payload you can put up here before this thing will crumple like a soda can. And in fact, a soda can is a very apt analogy for this thing. Right? When this thing is unpressurized, very easy to dent it, very easy to push it in. When it's pressurized, when it's unopened, you can stand on it. That's what a Centaur does, right? But it does have its limits. See this thing right here, those two C's? These shapes right here, that's called a CFLR, a Centaur Forward Load Reactor. What the forward load reactor does is it's basically a structural brace that picks up on the forward bulkhead of a Centaur, and it attaches to the payload fairing. The Centaur on Atlas V 500 rides inside of the payload fairing. The reason why that is the case is because the payload fairing it's basically the strong back for your Centaur. Yep. You need a forward load reactor. So this is how I knew that you couldn't put a Centaur 5 on top of SLS without something like this. That's what they're going to need to design. They need to design an adapter. But the crazy thing is that the interstage adapter and the forward load reactor basically need to go up the sides of Centaur. You don't want to take Centaur and just increase its tank wall thickness, because then you're losing. If say you doubled the tank wall thickness on the Centaur to like 2 to 3 millimeter, you would lose a ton of efficiency that way. It would make it functionally useless, and then you'd have to redesign a new stage anyway. What about when the fairing's jettisoned? So the fairing's jettisoned in two pieces. They jettison in two pieces. They're along the forward, or no, they don't. They're stacked in two pieces. When these things jettison, the fairings pop off, and then the CFLR deck is jettisoned. The strongest part of the Centaur is the payload attachment fitting, and the aft bulkhead, because that's what the rocket engine is. But yes, yeah, so the Centaur is going to need additional reinforcement. They're going to need to, so Jared and his boys at Marshall are going to need to make something like that for SLS. My argument is that would take just as long as the EUS. And that's apparently not true. When I talked to Jared the other day, that's apparently not a thing. He said that it's coming along, and he said that the EUS would have taken until 2029 to get operable. If that's not bullcrap, and I don't think it is, the adapter would definitely take less time. A Centaur forward load reactor is something that you're going to need, though. Because, Centaur cannot... If you just put an Orion on top of Centaur with no load reactor, and then just made a conic adapter like this to go to SLS and launched it, it would crush the Centaur like a beer can. Like, crush it. There would be nothing left. It would blow up. Build a standard stage alongside that stage. It's so short-sighted to dump that capability. I really wish I had a chance to ask him a third question, Hellfish. My third question would be that will there be higher energy standardized stages for SLS in the future? That was my third question. Jared, if you're out there, dude, I'm genuinely wondering. I like the plan. It's not, I see what you're doing. I get it. It'll work. A little convoluted, but make lemons with lemonade. Reverse that. What questions did you ask him? Watch the Flame Trench on Friday, dude. I talked to Jared on the Flame Trench. I asked him questions about EUS and SLS. Oh, yeah. Make aid with lemons. Yes, yeah. When life gives you lemonade, make life take the lemons back. Get mad. I mean, like I said, an adapter could be doable, but Centaur 5 was never designed to have a forward load reactor on it either. I'm not saying it can't be done. Sure, it could be done. But my argument was always that the EUS was not going to... It's going to take as long as the EUS because Centaurs are tricky, dude. It's tricky to engineer with those things because of the balloon tanks. And I know what people are going to say, well, why use balloon tanks? You use balloon tanks because in rocket science, the less rocket you have on your rocket and the more fuel you have on your rocket, the further your rocket goes. With that being said, Centaur 5 is like 98% fuel. You couple that with an RL-10 engine, which makes 460-second specific impulse, it's basically... Yeah, you have a very efficient engine with hydrolocks and the stage basically has zero dry, like it's close to almost zero dry mass because the tank walls are so thin. Will Centaur have enough delta V to get to low lunar? Yes. If boil off can be mitigated, Fluffy. Yes, it can. Now, Fluffy, here's the thing. Here's what I would... Universal stage adapter. The USA is not going to work. You can't put Centaur on top of the USA. It'll break it. How much you want to bet ULA has already partially made plans to put Centaur on SLS before now? It's possible. Two things. One, Centaur 5 can absolutely hold up a little bit more than Centaur 3. I know it can. So the reason why is because Vulcan doesn't have any forward load reactors. The Centaur can just put a heavy payload on top for the Department of Defense, and Vulcan will be able to launch it, provided its SRBs don't blow up. So Centaur 5 can definitely take a little bit more axial load than a Centaur 3. It's definitely stronger, but it's not so strong where you could put it on top of SLS without a load reactor and have it be fine. Aqualex, it is possible that ULA had some type of future plans, or they built in some future proofing into Centaur 5 to maybe put it on like a Vulcan Heavy or something. But as far as I know, there's no forward load reactor on that thing. There could be, though. You could pick up on the, you could put a forward load reactor on the forward fairing. Well, basically you could use it on the PA. You could attach it to the PAF mount. That'd work. You would incur a little bit of a dry mass penalty, but it would work. Once again, it's just building the load reactor. Centaur is going to have to ride inside of an inner stage, and that inner stage is going to have a load reactor, and then there's going to have to be some type of adapter that goes to Orion from there. That's where this gets tricky, because you're going to have some weird adapter that picks up on the Orion staging adapter. That's very strange. If it was me, I would use the USA, the Universal Stage Adapter. Try to see if you can retrofit that thing to make it work. What would have to change on the tower for SLS Centaur? The umbilicals, that's about it. There's another Flippy Doo in Norfolk? Yes. Yes, Flippy Doos. We love Flippy Doos. Those things are super cool. But yeah, good stuff, dudes. Talk about trains. You learn about trains. You learn about history. You learn about rockets. We just do all the things here. New Glenn 9x4 Stage 2. Lemon, if it was up to me, I'd have Blue Origin make a cut down GS2. A GS2 that's about half as tall. That's what I'd do. SLS doesn't need a full GS2 on top. It's too tall for the VAB, which I still think is a dumb reason for that. To like, oh, we can't build this rocket. It's too tall for our hangar. Implying you're not NASA. You're NASA, like you could just make the hangar taller, but whatever. Say that's not a thing. All right, so I would go to Blue and I'd say make a cut down GS2. Make a GS2 that's half the size of a New Glenn GS2. Put that on top. That'll work. That'll work really well, actually. Make the bloody VAB taller. It was designed for that. Yeah, I know. You'll get no argument from me, Lemon. But yeah, I mean, a cut down GS2 would be an easier solution. And frankly, I don't think SLS needs to do what we need to do for the Artemis program. I don't think SLS needs that big of an upper stage. Honestly, remember, you need something about the size of an S4B. GS2 is way longer than an S4B. I'm talking about take a New Glenn GS2 and make it as tall as an S4B. Literally just make an S4B with New Glenn parts. What, is Blue busy launching stuff right now? Bueller? Just saying. Just putting it out there. Like, maybe that would be a solution in the future. Honestly, that's probably what I would have done from the start, but Jared seems intent on Centaur, so. Your youngest son enjoyed the flippy do with the trains. Yeah, because trains are awesome, dude. I was thinking, considering how many things Centaurs have been used for, they probably put in some design work for putting it on everything out there just in case. Maybe. So we know Starship HLS landing will be low lunar, but can Blue Moon do the TLI? It won't, Vargon, no. Jared Isaacman said in the interview that when I asked him, he said that SLS B1S is needed because it can shoot Orion out to the moon with Centaur, and if they figure out boil-off mitigation techniques with Centaur, it could circularize Orion in low lunar. Food for thought. Second thing is, if Starship is if they're using Starship for their translunar injection, Jared said it'd be in high Earth orbit. We'd never heard that before. So the Starship TLI ConOps are a rendezvous in Hio, which makes B1S make way more sense if you ask me. Yeah, that's where I was like, oh, that's what you want to do. Okay. Chesticles McGee. What happened to EJ? Who is this young stud that replaced him? I am the beta unit. EJ was recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. If you got that reference. Interstellar! That is a really good solution since I hate Glenny 7x2 anyway. That explains everything. Nice. This is why getting these one-on-ones with people like Jared are important. These facts are crucial. Yep. You're my last starfighter. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Centauri dead? No, no, my boy. Centauri is not dead. Anyway. All right, dudes. It's 8:30. We put in about 3.5 hours here. So that's going to do it for Space News. Here's what's going on. Tomorrow is my my anniversary with Bree. I'm taking that day off. I will see you guys on Thursday. I know I've been taking a lot of time off. I actually talked to Bree about this today, and she's pretty much back to good health. So we have permission to basically start getting into it again. So more car streams, more games, Space News obviously on top of that. What I think we're going to do is I'm going to slow roll this for the rest of the week, right? Probably do a car stream in Space News on Thursday, and then obviously Space News Flame Trench on Friday, and then on Monday, the 22nd, we'll just go back to the regular schedule, or I'll at least attempt to do it. So yeah, I have been jonesing to play a train game, so we'll probably play Derail at some point and go from there. But yeah, we started building the railway in cities in Las Rico. We got to fix that. Take your time. Yes. But yeah, I need to get back to the regular schedule at some point, Dino. So I think I'm going to do that for the fourth week of June. I always take the first week of July off just because that's my reset time. I do that every year. And then basically after the 5th, on the 6th, the Monday in July, we get back to business. That's probably when we'll bring KSP back into the fold. I just have to slow roll and ramp this back up. So, yeah. These Just Space News stream days are hopefully going to be short-lived from now on. But, yeah, it takes a second to get all ramped back up again. It's tough to just bust out a 12-hour stream. So, yeah. But we have permission to start ramping. Prepare to ramp. Prepare to stream ramp. Ramp stream ramp. Ramping stream. Happy anniversary. Thank you very much. All right. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to spend the day with Bree. And we're going to try to have some semblance of a normal wedding anniversary. But, yeah, on the other side of that, Thursday, that's when we'll start getting back into gear. Car streams, games, space news, rocket launches, obviously. And we'll go from there. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Have a good night. I'll see you guys on Thursday, okay? Thank you very much for watching and enjoy.